Hello and welcome back to another episode of the CQ the Watch Guy podcast with me, CQ the Watch Guy. And today I want to talk about some new releases that have just came out. Watches and Wonders Shanghai has just begun. Geneva Watch Days has ended, and all the brands are giving us some goodies. So I thought I'd pick a few and dive in so we can chew on it a little bit. So let's go and start with what I think is going to be immediate hit, the A Long and Sone Longer One Perpetual Calendar, now in a platinum case and a black dial. I think this is a classy and beautiful update to the already stunning Longer One Perpetual Calendar lineup that is available. It was introduced in 2021. You had the rose gold and gray dial, which was great, and then of course you had that white gold with that salmon or gold dial that was just perfection. That one was only limited to 150 pieces, so it sold out really, really fast. And I'm really glad they gave us a nice edition. This one's in platinum. I love a good longer piece in platinum, a nice heavy watch. But the real star of the show is just the perpetual calendar layout here. This was the first Longer One perpetual calendar that was purely a perpetual calendar. And what I love about it, I love perpetual calendars. They fit all that information in there in a very longer way, very longer one way, where you have all this information, but they keep the beautiful asymmetric aesthetic. And yeah, it's just very legible watch. You have the month going out on the peripheral. You got the day there on its own reserve, the marsh, the moon phase, giving you a nice pop of color on what is just a black dial with the platinum and silver indices there. Yeah, just a gorgeous execution. I think this will be a hit. I love to see it in I just love to see platinum and black. I think that's a great contrast. This will be I just need to get it in the middle. I love this. I think this is going to be, I have to do a re-rankings of my top 5 perpetual calendars, but this definitely, regarding a variation, the Longer One perpetual, definitely one of my top perpetuals. Let's go next to the Mad One Green. So that's right, we have another Mad One. The red is officially discontinued. All of those have been delivered, and now we have the Mad One Green edition. I love the spirit for what the Mad One represents. It is Max Boucher's and MBNF family's way of giving the community, the tribe, and just enthusiasts in general an opportunity to get something that is of their DNA, of their design, but at a much more accessible price point than if you went for a normal MBNF, which probably starts, I don't know, somewhere around the 60-ish plus $1,000 range. So with the Mad One series, you get some beautiful driver style watches that are very unique with that big old rotor at top, and you kind of read it from the peripheral on the side. Really great execution. If you ever handle them in person, they're really well done, and that rotor spins like butter and so smoothly, and has some nice lume on it as well. So you hit that with a black light and you spin it, and it does some really, really, really good things. Again, these will be raffled off, and they're retail on them is 2,900 Swiss francs, or somewhere around, I think, 3,100 US dollars. Of course, there'll be a little bit of a race to get them, and we'll see what happens on the market. But I think all the Mad Ones have kind of calmed down into like a reasonable range for what they are. So I think, this will be a fun one. I'm going to try to get one. And I think if you're looking for something fun and funky, why not give these a shot? And again, just if the design language of it, how to feel on the wrist, really well made watch. And I'm glad that we're seeing new color editions, and I hope to one day see a Mad 2 and see what I'm sure there's stuff in the works. I'll be happy to see what else is in the evolution of the Mad One family lineup. And last but not least, let's go to one of my favorite brands, Ulysse Nardin. So Ulysse Nardin has released the Freak X Ops watch. And I'm a big fan of the Freak X line. I was a big fan of the Freak. The Freak kind of, stunned the industry when they came out so many years ago, because you had the whole movement and escapement actually telling you the time on a watch and how did you make it work. It was such an amazing piece. So with the Freak X line, what they did is they gave you a crown and they gave you a more accessible price point. And it really opened up a whole new platform for Ulysse Nardin to give people who loved the Freak, who really enjoyed the aesthetics of the Freak, a little bit more wearable, a little bit more user-friendly version of it, and a little bit more budget-friendly version as well. So they've done a lot of different versions of the Freak X. And with the Freak X Ops, you have They brought back that kind of magma style carbon case where they use carbon and some colored epoxy. This time with a green and black motif, so it gives you that ops kind of that camo feel. With all Freak X's, you have the beautiful escapement there hanging out on the minute and hour hand. So as time tells, you see the beautiful escapement rotate around as well in a nice big piece. And the technology that goes in to make these, I could do a whole episode on that as well. Ulysse Nardin, to me, is one of those brands that just continues to keep pushing the edge of what they can do, the technology that they use to make their watches. And sometimes you complain about certain brands. Brand X doesn't push the boundaries here, and brand Y doesn't do this, and we should do that. But there's so many other brands out there that are really trying hard to, do unique things, do fun things, and earn your money. I think it's important for us to look at those brands and support them when we can. And, whether it be pre-owned or retail, I think, Ulysse Nardin can give you some really good value. And I still think to this day, from, lower end to high end, probably the most diverse product offering of any brand that exists. I remember when I really got into the industry and I was selling UN up in Alaska, and I was just going through their catalog, and I was amazed where you could buy Marine Maxi Diver. Maybe it was $5,000-$6,000 retail at that time, and then you could also buy like a Genghis Khan tourbillon automata, or like just a crazy, just so many crazy things. You could buy from 5,000 up to $1 million plus from the same brand, all great quality, all unique looking pieces, all with their own DNA. So Ulysse Nardin is always a brand that I keep my eyes on to see what they're doing. Of course, there's been some ownership changes and things like that, but I still think they're still on a great path, and they're still producing some really fun, unique watches. And comparing to other brands that are trying to do the same type of thing, when you look at retail for retail, I think they do provide a good value as well. And of course, on the pre-owned market, they're one of the steals on the century still, Ulysse Nardin. So the Ulysse Nardin Freak X Ops, a good watch to keep your eyes out for. But I'd say any Freak X lineup, get them on the wrist, look at them. You can usually find pretty good deals compared to retail on them, and you'd be amazed, how fun of a watch they are. Really, really, really cool pieces. All right, so that's my rundown for watches that have been released. But I want to hear from you. Tell me what watches that you have enjoyed or you've loved seeing that have been released in the past week or so, or month or whatever. And I'd be happy to chime in and talk about it. Let me know in the comments. You can shoot me an email at cquan@davidsw.com. Now, on to my picks of the week. So we got a few good pieces that just dropped on the website that I wanted to talk about. And let's start up with the Prince of the Bluesies. I won't call it King because it's not full gold, but we have a Rolex Submariner 116613LB. Blue ceramic bezel, blue dial. But what's special about this one, we have a blue diamond dial. So you don't see these pop up too often. They do make the diamond dial in both the black two-tone and the blue two-tone. I think on the blue two-tone, it just gives it a nice step up from, you already get a nice, beautiful luxe watch, but it just gives you a little, a little sprinkle, a little dash of bling there, and it really just turns up what's already a 10, in my opinion, of a watch to 11.5. And I think for the price difference to get into a diamond dial piece is really not that crazy. So somebody who's looked at diamond dial pieces, you looked at diamond pieces, or you just, you're looking at a blues, you just want something a little bit extra special, I think it's something to look at because it doesn't overpower the watch. From far away, you don't know it's a diamond dial piece. It doesn't, it's not bling bling across the room. So something that's kind of your little secret, but a nice accent. And I love to see these whenever they pop up. So the Prince of the Bluesy, Prince Bluesy. I'm gonna trademark that name here. Next up, we have the original 50 Fathoms. Not the original, but an original series, Blancpain 50 Fathoms automatic. And I wanted to talk about this one just because the Blancpain swatch pieces are out, which I think Blancpain swatch Scuba 50 Fathoms. I believe that's the right terminology, all these long names. Anyways, when you look at the Blancpain, what are you getting? You're getting a beautiful heritage diver, right? There's tons of history that goes into this piece, but like, why should you wear a Blancpain 50 Fathoms today? If you want something that is unique, if you want something that is fun, that you can enjoy, that you can swim with, that you can do anything you want with, but still gives you that essence of heritage, the essence of a traditional feeling. I think the Blancpain 50 Fathoms is a great watch to look at. There's many variations. I enjoyed this black version with the domed sapphire bezel. It just kind of does something a lot of other watches don't do. And it's something that you really do have to get on the wrist or get in the hand to really appreciate and, make your mind up about it. Just something unique, not like any of the other divers out there. And that's why I think the Swatch partnership was so great, because it just put 50 fathoms on wrists that nobody else, would have, thought about it. And many wrists who never thought about a 50 fathoms put on a fun one, and they actually might go out and, put on the original series. I think that's pretty cool. So let's wrap it up, because got some raindrops hitting me, with the Patek Philippe 6119G. And to me, when these were released, I just remember being like, I think this is the one, right? I'm a big fan of Patek Philippe, sold it for many years at the 80 level. I love a good classic travel. I always found the 5119 to be a little too classy for my personal age group and my style, my personal style, and how I move around. Let's say that. Now, when the 6119G came around, it changed my mind completely, because you had the traditional essence of Patek Philippe, which I love. You had that hobnail bezel, but then you put this beautiful gray anthracite dial with a satin finish on it. And the textures of this dial, the character of this watch just like speaks volumes. It looks great on a black strap here, but I have some really good collector friends who put this on gray suede, who put this on blue suede, blue leather, and it has looked really great as well. I think this is a watch you definitely get on the wrist. For this and many more pieces, make sure you check out DavidSW.com. Hope you enjoyed the show. Have a great day. Buy what you love.